Hey guys, welcome to Clubmaths YouTube channel. Thank you for joining with us and staying with us, understanding, every other day a new tutorial that we bring up with. Most of you have already gone through these topics, but it's very helpful. Everyone has their different way of identifying things and a different definition, but again, the solution is the same, and it could be that, one solution can be better than other, but again, right, let's not get into that. Uh, Today's topic we are going to discuss about rectangle. It's very common, very basic, very basic. You would say that, okay, what we are discussing about, but there are many things that you may not remember or you may not realize about rectangle and its correct characteristics. So rectangle characteristics are the most important characteristics are so the opposite sides are equal to each other. So let's say if this is let me take a different color. If it is A, this should be A, which means like it should be in same width, height, length, whatever we are counting upon. If we are talking about this one, let's say B, this should be similar to B. That is one of the most important characteristics of rectangles. Second thing is all the sides are at 90 degree of each other, you know, in rectangle. And I'm talking about from the internals. From if you see from the internal view, all these makes a 90-degree angle to each other. So when I say 90 degree, which is straight, it's in a L shape, to each other. So one side is making a to another, and the same way the other side is making 90 degrees to another. All right, so that's why it is your it's one of the good figures where which is equivalent to parallelogram. So you can definitely say that these two sides are definitely parallel as well as equal to each other. So yes, they are called as parallelogram too. Okay. So as I said, right, three important things. Opposite sides are equal. Uh, so I'm gonna quickly write it down for you. Equal. Then internal angles are 90 degree. Internal angles of each side. Sorry about my writing. Makes 90-degree angle. And I'm talking about this thing. Okay. And it has a characteristics of parallelogram too. Parallelogram. Okay. So one second now, let me just write it down for you clearer so that internal angle of each side is equal to 90 degree. Okay. Okay. So second thing, how we are going to identify the area of a rectangle. So area is something where by which we can identify, how we can calculate how much space this whole thing is taking. So the area of rectangle is length into width, which is, let's take a different color, yellow. Here, this size of this cross size of this. Okay, so this is your length, this is your width. So if your length here is 2 and width here is 3, so your area of rectangle is 2 cross 3, which is 6. So now let's discuss about parameter, which is one of the important, uh, you know, attribute of understanding the shape. And I'll explain you what exactly parameter is. So let's say this is your parameter. This is your rectangle. So parameter is the calculation of an overall rectangle, and which is like a sum of all the edges. So let's say this is your x, this is your y. So as we say that this is, rectangle, opposite sides are almost equal in size. So I'm just putting it x, x, y, y. So the parameter can be calculated for a rectangle as 2 times x plus y. That is your 2 times x plus y means, so if we say that, if we expand it, it will be as 2x plus 2y, which means, let's say, for example, let's say here it is 4. Let me take a different color. 4. This is 5. So if I have to calculate 2 times 4 plus 5, so I'll expand it in this format. 2 cross 4 is 8, but let's keep on doing it. 2 cross 5. So 2 cross 4, 8, plus 2 cross 5 is 10. Area, the parameter of this rectangle is 18. And if we have to calculate the area of this, as its length into width. So in which we just multiply with length and width, and we identify the area of this whole, that how much area this rectangle is. And what parameter is something uh, which calculates the size of all the edges and includes everything into it. So one more thing I want to tell you about is the diagonals. Diagonals is important, attribute here. Uh, diagonal. Sorry about that. So let me just put it properly. Diagonal. Diagonals, and I'll explain you what diagonals is in rectangles. So diagonals is something which intersect anything into equal parts. So this is your diagonal, and when it intersect, it intersect in the middle, exactly in the middle. So pardon me about my drawing skills, but again, we can say that this is the intersecting part of a rectangle, and this is your diagonal. So what it is doing is it's dissecting the uh, rectangle into equal parts, and it's intersecting in the middle. How this can be calculated? So there's a simple thing, right? So once you put the intersection, like let's say you did the intersection of it, so this is how it is. So now this rectangle is divided into 4 equal parts: 1, 2, 3, and 4. So and we say that length and width. So the formula to identify the diagonal is very simple. It goes into square root. You have to understand the square root too. So as I said, right, so the diagonal is calculated as no, square root 2 by width square plus height square, and that to square root. So square root of width square or height square, or you can say that in this case, I know your length L square plus width square root is your diagonal of your rectangle. So let's say it's 4, 5, so it will be 4 square plus which square, 5 square, and then square root. So I'll tell you square root in next example, but I'm just trying to solve here. Things are 4 cross 4 plus 5 is 25. Let's say what we get. 25 plus 16 is 41, and now taking out square root is kind of difficult. Like it's gonna go in a deeper side of it. But to make it very simple, and to give you an idea, let me just take this as, you know, let's take this example where I'm saying, okay, 4 square, 4 and 2, and I have to identify the diagonal, which is this, okay? So I'll say 4 square plus 2 square and square root of this. So it will be 4 into cross 4, 16, plus 2 cross 2 is 4, and square root is 20. The total is 20. So we have to identify the square root of 20, which is usually it is, it's pretty, 2 cross 5 is your answer of, that's the diagonal of this rectangle. Okay, I hope you have understood the video and understood what the, how the diagonals, parameter, and area is calculated. We don't want to get further into square roots and how to calculate further and make it typical, but to go with the topic, we are going to do, we want to discuss about rectangle, and I'm sure you have liked this video and your doubts about rectangle has been clarified. Try figuring out how to calculate these three things: diagonals, parameter, as well as you know area of a rectangle. I'm sure all your queries will get sorted out quickly. So thank you for watching this video. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.